The psychology of scarcity. When I first came to SAGIA and began unveiling my plans for reinventing the agency, some people who had worked there for a while pushed back hard. "We've tried X before, and it didn't work," some remarked. "Y is not part of our mandate," others complained. The excuse I heard most often: "We don't have any budget for Z." Needless to say, these naysayers were soon looking for other jobs. I don't have a lot of patience for people who make excuses, including that of not having enough money to get stuff done. I probably learned this from my father, who started his business from scratch. At the end of the month, it was a challenge to pay bills for his startup, and a few harrowing experiences, like the near failure of the chicken farm and the later problems with BCCI, could have done in a lesser man. But no matter how big the problem, my father always maintained his calm and held fast to his values, which earned him a reputation as an honest and reliable businessman. His reputation was a form of currency that stood him in good stead. Obviously, money is important. Earning unquestionably fuels giving. Whether we are giving the world a new product or service, a new idea, a solution to a problem, or a child who embodies our dreams for the future. But what if you want to give the world something new and wonderful, and you don't have money in the bank? The problem is that too often, not having money is an excuse for not delivering. Focusing on a lack of money puts us in a victim mindset, and becomes a pretext for not being more innovative and entrepreneurial in generating revenues and support from unconventional sources. Indeed, I've found that the notion that money is the only thing stopping most of us from achieving our goals is the fastest way to achieve nothing. When we worry about a lack of resources, our brains simply don't work as well. In fact, feeling poor can lower a person's IQ as much as a night without sleep. Princeton University psychology and public affairs professor Eldar Shafir and Harvard University economist Senthil Mullainathan have researched what happens when we succumb to a scarcity mindset. Every psychologist understands that we have very limited cognitive space and bandwidth, Shafir explained in an interview in the American Psychological Association's Monitor magazine. When you focus heavily on one thing, there is just less mind to devote to other things. We call it tunneling. As you devote more and more to dealing with scarcity, you have less and less for other things in your life, some of which are very important for dealing with scarcity, too. In one of many studies designed to see how scarcity affects cognitive capacity, Shafir, Mullainathan, and a researcher named Jiaying Zhao went to a mall in New Jersey and asked people to complete tests measuring cognitive control and fluid intelligence, a component of IQ. We had them do these things while they were contemplating a financial scenario, something that's manageable, requiring $150 to fix a car that broke down, or more demanding, requiring $1,500 in car-related expenses, Shafir explained. We divided the participants by household income and found that the rich people in the mall did equally well on the cognitive tests, whether they were thinking of the challenging or the less challenging scenario related to the car. The poorer people in the mall were equally capable cognitively and did just as well on fluid intelligence as the rich when they were thinking about the manageable scenario. But once they contemplated the more challenging scenario, their scores went way down. Simply being preoccupied with this demanding financial challenge makes them perform worse. 3. I've heard of a Buddhist adage that speaks to this situation. Two people are tied to chairs with ropes. One is fighting to get the ropes loosened. He sweats, cries, and winds up exhausted, frustrated, and bleeding from rope burn. The other person shifts his mindset. He decides to love the ropes. The ropes fall off, and he goes off to find freedom and happiness in life. For so many people, the lack of money feels like those tight ropes. The more you worry about not having it, the more stressed out you become. Even those who have enough to live on spend so much time worrying about not having enough money now or in the future that they can't free themselves to pursue their dreams. Our preconceived notions, habits, stories, and opinions, as well as our cultures, are like the ropes that bind us, preventing us from moving into a more productive and creative place. We say no to possibility. We say we can't do things because we think that the system won't let us, or we've always done things this way. If we habitually think about the lack of money as an insurmountable problem, we stay tied up right where we are.